Hi everyone, welcome to our channel. My name is Hisham, and I'm here today with my friend Mehdi. Hello, Mehdi.
Hello, Isham.
How are you doing?
Great, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. So today it's a very special day because we are recording our first podcast, a fully audio only podcast.
Right.
This is a very special day because we are trying to record our first audio podcast, audio only. I mean, and what I'm really doing here today is that I'm going to ask you some questions
Right.
about what you are doing now, about a lot of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, so I hope you will enjoy it and that we will have some fun.
Let's get started and yeah, people will understand. Hopefully they will understand
Yeah.
as we go.
Great.
All right, so I'm ready for your questions. What do you have for me tonight?
Mehdi, first question, very simple question. Of course, I know you, you are my friend from years now, but our audience may ask, and it's absolutely normal, who are you? Can you present yourself?
Sure. My name is Mehdi Ben Musa. My full name is Mohammed Mehdi Ben Musa. I'm an English teacher at the British Council, and I live in Algiers. I live and work in Algiers, but originally I'm from Iran. I was born and raised in Iran, but since I got the job at the British Council, I had to move to Algiers.
Oh, great. So you are already burning the steps for me because you have already answered my second question, but no problem. That's great. So, what are you doing right now in Algiers?
As I said, right now I'm working at the British Council, but I'm also involved in different kinds of projects related to teaching, English teaching. Right now, I just launched my YouTube channel, which is called Mehdistips.
Before that, I have some few other questions related to your job, to your career, what you are doing here in Algiers. There's something I want to ask you, bro. Why did you choose that job? Because I know many people may don't know you or your educational background, stuff you have done before. How it comes that you are now an English teacher, and from knowing you, I think you like it.
Absolutely, yeah. I just love teaching, but as you may know, but this is something that might surprise the audience, is that my background is not in English. My background is in accounting. I've studied what we call sciences commerciales in here in Algeria, and then I specialized in accounting. I worked in accounting for a couple of years, but then it's like back in 2014, I just decided to drop everything and just decided to quit my job and switch to or shift to teaching. So why do I do teaching? Because teaching doesn't have a lot of routine. I mean, you always have different students, different personalities, different levels.
Yeah.
So things are very different from one group to another, and there's this noble thing about teaching, which is for me it's very motivating, is to be able to share knowledge and share knowledge with students, and that will change their lives. For example, I've got a lot of people working in different sectors. I've got doctors, I've got engineers, I've got lawyers. So for me, the idea that my teaching will improve their lives. I mean, by learning English, they will get better jobs. They will have a better quality of life. So for me, that's very stimulating, and I like to think that I make a difference, in people's life by teaching them English.
Well, thank you. So, you have just said a thing that I think is very, very interesting about breaking the routine and not having. I imagine that if you come from a background where you have done, as you said, accounting, it's in general a work where you are set in a box in an office with papers, with numbers. It may be boring, I understand that. Now you are now as you are a teacher, how's your day, or can you describe your typical day, your typical routine? Because I know it may be different from other jobs, but there is always like a big picture.
I think that the biggest change is the working hours. I mean, in accounting, you work from 8 to 4 or 8 to 5, so you have 8 hours working. We call them office hours. But the biggest difference is that now I teach evening classes, which means I start work like around 2, and I finish work at 9 p.m. But just to remind, so my typical day, I would wake up. I usually wake up at 8 or 9, sometimes 10 if I don't sleep early. Sometimes if I've got the energy, I go to the gym just to do some sports, to exercise, to work out. After that, I come back home and
relax
and cook, try to eat healthy. Then after that, I go to work, and usually I teach from 5 to 9. But I go to work at 2 because from 2 to 5 it's preparation time. I've got to prepare my lessons. So I work on them from 2 to 5. Then I teach from 5 to 9.
Does working in the evening affect your social life? Because I may tell you one thing or two, because I have already passed by a job or two like this where you have to work at night. And for me, it was pretty bad. So what do you think about it? Does it?
I just hate it, man. Honestly, I hate it. I hate evening classes. It's very tiring, and it affects tremendously your social life. I mean, think about it. Like, people, they usually finish work at 5 or 6. So after that, it's time for social interactions. That's where you meet your friends, you have coffee, and because for me, my free time is during the morning, and during the morning everyone is working, so it's impossible to meet up with friends. So I would say that's one of the downsides of my job, is that I have to work evening classes. But it's just the nature of the job.
Well, fortunately, it's just a schedule that will change, I hope, in future.
Hope so. Yeah.
Did you know you were going to do this job when you were a kid or student?
I don't think so. No, I was inspired by some of my teachers that I had in the past. Definitely, I wouldn't say I was or I knew that I will be a teacher. It's just how things went. I mean, as I told you, I was working as an accountant, and the thing is, when I quit my job, I've decided to. I did an exchange program with a student organization where I went actually to Indonesia to Indonesia to do an exchange program there, and it basically was teaching in a primary school, teaching English. So it was a first experience. I had never taught English before. I just went through some interviews, and I got selected. And I said, wow, I wanted to make a change in my life, a radical one. So I just jumped on the occasion.
Okay, thank you. So we are going now to let the teacher or the working side, the parts, we are going to attack another subject, which is about this channel. There is a very simple question. Why are we recording this right now?
That's a great question, actually. this recording is aimed to inform people about the purpose of this channel. I want the people and the audience, my audience, to be on the same page and to be updated about why do they come to this channel, what are they going to find in this channel, and so hopefully after this podcast you will have an excellent idea about my channel.
Can you describe for me the ideal outcome of this channel? What do you want to do with it? What's the impact you want to?
Yeah, I get you. Yeah. First of all, what inspired me to create this channel? It's just the change that's happening in our country, where English now is more present. It's omnipresent in our lives. It's slowly taken over French, because before we had clearly we had Arabic and French, but
especially
now
French dominance.
Yeah, absolutely.
In studies, in universities curriculums, but now we cannot just observe it, but we can feel it, that English is taking over, and that people, especially in younger generations, who are very thirsty to learn it and to practice it.
Yeah. Well, what surprised me is the number of people who are interested in learning English. I mean, for example, in my school, we have a growing number of students coming and wishing to learn English. And if you see it, just look around you, just look at the number of schools of English schools that opened in the recent years.
Everywhere, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And for me, I noticed that there was this gap. There is a desire to learn English, but we don't have anyone in online, virtual, someone who is an online teacher. This is something that it's very common abroad and internationally, and there are a lot of people who have YouTube channels. So for me, one of my first aims was to create content, English only content, but that's relevant to Algerians.
Yeah, that kind of content that they can understand, they can relate to.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what I wanted to say is that there is 2 points.
Yeah.
Many people now want to learn English, and there is schools everywhere. I'll count that. But what's your position on that? Because there is offer and there is demand. But in general, people still somehow afraid to converse in English, to have conversation, to practice it in public, maybe.
Yeah.
To even some very simple tasks like watching or consuming content in English. It's still pretty rare.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right?
Yeah. I mean, my position, there's definitely, as you said, there's definitely a growing demand. But I think, in my opinion, there isn't an adequate offer. I mean, there are a lot of schools that's it's true, but I don't think that they provide a service of quality. And one of the reasons,
they don't meet standards, maybe.
Absolutely. That's I strongly confirm it, because I myself, I'm a Cambridge University certified teacher. So I've studied teaching methodologies and the different techniques to use to teach English as a foreign language. Unfortunately, what we see today is that these private schools, unfortunately, they have it's not their fault, but it's a fault in the system in general. Here in our educational system, teachers, they don't study teaching how to teach English. They study literature, they study mainly
some grammar, some
yeah,
linguistics.
yeah, but they don't study things like on, like for example,
How to teach.
how to teach, how to manage a classroom, how to teach grammar, how to teach vocab. They study like I don't know, civilization. They study literature, but they are not. This is not teaching.
Yeah, that may explain somehow the very bad general level in English, because we all have been passed by the elementary school, middle school, and the high school. We had teachers, and now that we are adults, and we have, especially you who have been abroad, who met people who are native speakers and who practice the language in a very natural manner, we can see that their level is very, unfortunately, very bad in speaking. So how do you think that, how can we, or how can teachers or the teaching community in Algeria help itself get out from this problem?
Well, it's a bit of a doozy, I would say. It's a bit of a dilemma, because talking about teachers who teach in public school, I would hate to be in that place, to be honest. I mean, if you have 35, 40 kids, that's a whole system that got to change, and not the teaching, because it's very difficult to teach in those circumstances. So I feel for them, and so on that point, to be honest with you, we have to reduce class sizes. That's the first step.
That's maybe the first step we have to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's the first step. I mean, once you go over 20, I mean, it becomes very challenging to teach. But for me, where I see myself standing is, as I told you, I've got knowledge on teaching methodologies. So I would like to share that knowledge with teachers here in Algeria, and hopefully we would create a network where there's this this free sharing and unrestrained sharing of knowledge, where teacher, where there's like peer learning, or we learn from each other. And yeah, that's my goal, that I want to connect with teachers in all around Algeria and share knowledge.
Do you want just to connect with teacher, or are you just aiming to get in touch with the teaching community, or it will be for other segments of society? I mean, it may for sure interest teachers, but there is the other part, the majority who are students.
I want to be everywhere, man. I want to be everywhere. No, absolutely not. I don't focus only on teachers. I would like also to help students who are learning English, and by sharing tips and advice on how to improve their English. So I want to help both sides. I want to help teachers by sharing knowledge on how to teach, and help learners on sharing knowledge on how to learn.
Oh, great. Well, Mehdi, I'm very excited to see your content in the future. I hope it will get the intention it deserves, because I think personally it's very good initiative.
If I may add one thing, maybe that I forgot to mention. I would say my ultimate goal is that this virtual online work that I'm doing, I hope that it will lead to some field work. I mean, what I'm hoping now is just to build a community, just to get in touch with different learners and teachers all around Algeria, and hopefully it will lead to some field work, and where, for example, something that really inspires me and that I aspire to do, is organizing events like teacher training events,
Yeah.
like social gathering for learners. So this is really something that this is what I'm doing. This channel is a mean to a goal, and my goal is the field.
I hope that our listeners will not hesitate to contact us, to give us their impressions, to ask questions. We will be always here to answer. We will be very pleased.
Of course.
I hope that we will soon get in touch, maybe.
Absolutely.
So, thank you very much, Mehdi, for being here today.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure. It was an honor, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
The coffee was good.
It was perfect. I had ginger, actually. I want to sleep after that.
Okay, please, if you like our podcast, don't forget to subscribe, to give us a like. It's just a matter of sharing knowledge to create a new movement, some kind of parallel universe. Well, because I'm a lot into sci-fi. We will be here. We will share a lot of good stuff in the future, inshallah. Peace.
Take care.